I feel like I owe everybody an apology. For months, maybe even a full year, I've come out here and spoke as Roman Reigns, and I said a lot of things. You know, I said that I'd be here every single week. I said I'd be a fighting champion. I said I was going to be consistent, and I said I was going to be a workhorse, but that's all lies. It's a lie because the reality is my real name is Joe, and I've been living with leukemia for 11 years. And unfortunately, it's back. And because the leukemia is back, I cannot fulfill my role. I can't be that fighting champion. And I'm going to have to relinquish the Universal Championship. And I'm not going to lie, I'll take every prayer you can send my way, but I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for you to feel bad for me. Because I have faith. When I was 22 years old, I was diagnosed with this. And very quickly, I was able to put it in remission. But I'm not going to lie, that was the hardest time of my life. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any money. I didn't have a home. And I had a baby on the way. And football was done with me. But you want to know who gave me a chance? The team that gave me a chance was the WWE. And when I finally made it to the main roster and I was on the road, they put me in front of all of you, the WWE Universe. And to be honest, y'all have made my dreams come true. And it didn't matter if you cheered me. It didn't matter if you booed me. You've always reacted to me, and that is the most important thing. And for that, I have to say thank you so much. But I want to make one thing clear. By no means is this a retirement speech. Because after I'm done whooping leukemia's ass once again, I'm coming back home. And when I do, it's not going to just be about titles and being on top. No, it's about a purpose. I am coming back because I want to show all of you, the whole world. I want to show my family, my friends, my children, and my wife that when life throws a curveball at me, I am the type of man that will stand in that batter's box. I will crowd the plate, I will choke up, and I will swing for the fences every single time. Because I will beat this, and I will be back, so you will see me very, very soon. Once again, thank you so much. God bless you, and I love you. Believe that.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 129 of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. Here is October 25th, 2018. Hope you guys enjoyed your week. Couple days out from WWE Evolution coming up this Sunday from the Dump in Long Island. We'll keep it to that. Welcome to the program, everybody. Welcome to the program, everybody. My name is Josh Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Notorious Joshie. Make sure to follow my good brother Adam Daley at Adam Daley 13. What's up, man?
Josh, what's up? You know what's listen, as much as we joke about the New Jersey area, the Long Island area, like, you know, we probably shouldn't, because Josh, I have a feeling like a lot of our listeners are probably from around that area. It's just what the killer is. The reason why I make the joke, guys, if you ever wondered why I joke about, northern New Jersey, or typically New Jersey. I don't usually mess with Long Island.
Or Philly.
Well, Philly's in Pennsylvania, and I used to go up there all the time. But no, my dad used to live in Newark, New Jersey, so I used to go up there in the summertime, and so I'm familiar with the area, and it just, I don't know. I guess it just makes me feel like I have reason. I've clout enough to crack jokes on it, I guess. I don't know. I was 8 years old, 9 years old, whatever.
Yeah. The last thing that I'm concerned with is T-shirt time or stuff like that,
No.
No, it's just a little too much jersey in my opinion, and it doesn't help when family members put on these another extension of Jersey Shore seasons. I guess these people need some money now. I don't blame them, man. Do what you gotta do to get some money, I guess. But
listen, when you're a personality, listen, make your money, get it how you are. Let's face it, I'm nothing more than a personality, and I am, and I'm thankful for the money that I make. I don't know how I do, but listen, so get theirs. I'm hating more on the game, because when the game is give us Jersey Shore, Bama on the Florida coast, it's like, ooh, I don't know if we're mixing too many sauces right now.
Really quick, guys, I just wanted to let you guys know you can check out the podcast every single week on Apple Podcasts and YouTube. Any other place you get your podcasts from, I think there's a thing called Podcast FM that I think I see in our shows on there. I haven't uploaded them personally, but it's just little internet things where they upload different stuff. I even see my articles on these different wrestling websites that I never even published them on.
Like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, people like your work. I truly appreciate it. And especially for anybody who takes the time to listen to our show, it really means a lot to the both of us. So thank you for joining us. This week on the show, we're going to talk about Evolution, of course, coming up this Sunday. I have our predictions for that show. We're going to give our thoughts on this past Monday's Raw, especially the Dean Ambrose turn on Seth Rollins that's changing the world. We'll get into the unfortunate news about Roman Reigns and his case with leukemia. It's a very serious issue, but we'll get to that towards later on throughout the show. We'll have this time next week. We haven't done it in a couple weeks, so I wanted to have some comedy. And we've been really hitting some of the bigger life topics on the show recently due to personal events and obstacles that came to our lives recently, but I felt it'd be good to pick up the spirits here on the show and have some fun this week, and maybe we'll bring in some football conversation. I mean, we're in the middle part of the NFL season where it just starts dragging, and depending where your team is, you can be either done with the NFL already this season, or you're just in it for fantasy and money reasons. So
I feel like that was a direct shot at my Raiders. But listen, before we get into that, you know what? It's funny, Josh, and we get a bad rep sometimes for people saying we're either too overly positive, or we're shills for the business, or we're shills for this company or that company or this or whatever, or marks and this and that. And sure, listen, we're all of those things. But at the same time, it's the theme of our last show, Josh, ironically enough, was not only appreciating the little things, but appreciating what you have while you have it. And then here we go Monday. And look at just how the wrestling world just got flipped. At least on the wrestling world. I'm not even going to say WWE, because the situation with Reigns obviously affects everybody when it comes to that. But everything that our show was based around last week. I mean, obviously, I'm not proud of this, because I really feel for Roman right now. We'll talk about that later in the show, but that's why we do it, man. That's why we try to take the positive joking side over the let's beat this thing let's beat a dead horse until it wakes back up, because literally Monday's opening promo was exactly what we spoke about the entire show last week.
Yeah. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have any sources, nor are we looking for sources when it comes to the WWE. It's not what our show's based on. We're not Sports Center. We're not First Take. We're not Undisputed. We're not The Herd. We're not any of these other shows you would listen to. I don't know.
I don't want sources. I just want to have a beer with some of the people. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all. Seriously, there's a couple men and women I don't even want to talk business about. I just want to talk all right, let's talk music. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I'm still trying to figure this out. Like, what show would we compare to that's out there right now, at least from an entertainment standpoint? I can't relate.
What does everybody hate? Who does the wrestling bubble hate? Because I guess that's where we would fit in. I guess.
Yeah, right. The outsiders.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We're like Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Oh shit! Really quick, before we get to our live topic this week, I wanted to mention that we're recently celebrating the 18th anniversary of Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park's classic album that came out in 2000, October 24, 2000. One of the greatest albums of all time, especially for young guitar players and people who just love general rock music. Going from Crawling, in the end, One Step Closer, Points of Authority, so many different hits from that album, and even some other songs that weren't even singles that are very good on that album. If you haven't listened to
Cut.
Paper
Cut off there.
Absolutely. If you haven't listened to the full album yet, please give it a shot. I think you really enjoy it. Obviously, you have your hits. You've seen the music videos and you know the hits from Linkin Park. But if you look at the classic albums from Appetite for Destruction, Nevermind, the Beatles albums, Foo Fighters. I forget some of the names for their albums, but forgive me for that. So many of these other bands that had classic albums throughout the years. Hybrid Theory ranks up there even with Thriller, at least in my opinion.
So now,
some of the best music albums from top to bottom of all time, and Linkin Park is still one of the greatest bands of all time as well. So I wanted to bring that up.
So it was October 24th. That was the date it came out. So wow. So that album came out on Sam's birthday when she was, and I don't give away ages here, so we'll just say she was younger. But back in 2000, it came out on Sam's birthday. Wow. You know what, man? I actually don't, and I know this isn't a lot of people out there are gonna disagree with me heavily, and I really don't care. But I still think 1,000 Suns is hands down their best album. But I'm into that progressive concept style of album, versus, not saying, it's just Hybrid Theory and Meteora remind me so much of one another. I was actually glad they branched off and for how much we talked about Linkin Park on here, you had to see them live really to really, really, really appreciate them. That's how you could tell who stayed a fan and who didn't after like Hybrid Theory and Meteora. When Minutes to Midnight came out, like it was like, okay, either people fell off or you've seen them live, so you knew what they could do, and you're like, okay, it doesn't matter. Like you have to. It's almost like Tool, or there's just certain bands where that they're going to sound good on an album, but when you see them live, Muse is the perfect example. They sound 30 times better, and you should sound better live if you're,
Yeah.
But you would still put that as their number one, you think?
For Linkin Park, I probably agree with you. I think 1,000 Suns is personally my favorite album. If I had to put it in three, it'd be that one, Hybrid Theory, and then the one that just recently came out, One More Light.
Yeah,
I put that one really high as well. And again, honestly, and we can relate this to wrestling. No matter what era or album or whatever single it is, I'm just a Linkin Park fan in general, and their music for the last 18, 20 years has been something special that I'm grateful for. And it's honestly, as a music fan and appreciator of music, I deeply regret that I never got to see them in concert before. Like it really bothers me that I
saw them so many times, man. And I got to see him perform with Chris Cornell live on stage too, which was a really amazing experience for me too. So, and especially, given the events now, knowing that, but okay, top three Linkin Park albums for me. Then I'm going to surprise people. I'm actually going to put for me, 1,000 Suns was one. One More Light is, and it sucks because I'm going to put that at number two. Even though it does carry such a weight on it now, I guess. But I'm going to surprise a lot of people. My number three is Reanimation. Reanimation, I think, was highly underappreciated. And I'm not including the live albums or anything like that, but just, and I know Reanimation's kind of like a remix album, but that to me, I loved Reanimation. I thought it was incredible.
On the positive tip, I want to give some birthday shout-outs to Carmella, who recently celebrated her birthday. Mella is money. Yes, she is. Big bags of money.
When was her birthday?
I think it was Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was Tuesday because it was before SmackDown. And last thing on a shout-out tip, I wanted to give a shout-out to everybody who is getting ready to perform at this Evolution pay-per-view. You know, I don't know the amount of pressure these ladies are going through right now as they're preparing for this big pay-per-view on Sunday. I know we'll have our predictions for the show later on, but just for me personally as a wrestling fan, to have that amount of confidence from the brass to even have your own show just like that for 3.5 hours and have the same amount of time slot if it was like a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view or something like that, I think it's awesome. And the amount of pressure, not only for the current talent, but the women in NXT that are going to be on this show, and even the female performers from the past who are even taking place in this battle royal. I'm sure there's a lot of pressure, and I just want to give a shout out to those ladies because they got a big weekend for them, and it's going to be a weekend not only for them, but a weekend that we won't forget.
Well, it's funny. So Carmella's birthday was on, you said, on Tuesday, so that would have been the 23rd. Sam's birthday was on the 24th, which was yesterday, on Wednesday. We're taping this on a Thursday. The 26th is Punk's birthday. The 27th is my birthday. Shout out, Ant. I know it's your birthday too, brother. Happy birthday. On the 30th is Edge's birthday. And November 9th, I believe, is Jericho's birthday. Not that I know, like, my Mount Rushmore's birthdays or anything like that, and it's not super weird at all. It's also not super weird that me and Punk are exactly one leap year different from each other, but 366 days. But none of these things matter, ladies and gentlemen. The two wrestlers that everyone has always said that I look like were Punk and Edge, and my birthday's in between both of them, and it makes me feel like life is a simulation. But a lot of wrestling birthdays this week, my brother.
Yes, sir. I have an idea I want to do here weekly on the podcast. Since we do record it on a Thursday, I want to do something cool called Throwback Thursday promos. If you guys have favorite promos from your favorite performers from recently or in the past, send it to me and I'll use it as the intro or outro for the show. This is a nice little feature I'll add to the show. I'm very proud of the fact that we're able to use audio as a way to separate our shows from other shows, and I pride myself as a producer to add audio because I think the promos are just as important to the product as the matches or booking decisions and this and that.
Absolutely.
We're telling stories here, wrestling-wise. Not us telling stories. we don't.
I guess we're kind of telling stories. Just nobody wants to listen to.
We're not. We'll say this: we don't fabricate our segments. Let's just say that, okay?
Right.
You can be fair there.
That's right.
Yeah, but if you have any classic promos from any company, it doesn't have to be just WWE. Send it to me on Twitter, and I'll use it on the show. It's something cool for everybody to listen to. Okay.
Well, good. You know what, Josh? I would even say, and if you don't mind, I don't want to step on toes here, but I would actually wouldn't be opposed. Let me run this past you while we're live on air. I would encourage people to even send in not like wrestling promos obviously, but even if they just thought like quotes that they appreciate. Like you started off with a Tupac with a Tupac speech the one time I thought was real good. I know you've incorporated other just speeches from other outlets that weren't wrestling that I thought were really good. So I know that typically the audience that we have, you guys are more of the friends, our friends than fans, and you obviously have understood that over the years. So send us you guys know what, our train of thought and what kind of wavelength that we're probably all on here. So send over any good quotes, whether it's funny, whether it's something you want us to clown on. I mean, that's the kind of stuff really we can sink our teeth into.
Yes, sir. Light topic this week. And it's something that's been really bothering me. And by the way, folks, this is not wrestling related. I wanted to preface that before I get to anything I say right now. I don't know if I'm gonna super yell, but it's just something I needed to get off my chest over the last couple of days, and I kind of touched base on this on Tuesday when I found out this news on Facebook the other day. So for those who are in the dark or don't know what I'm talking about at this prior moment, I saw a news piece on Facebook the other day. It was Fox. It was the local Chicago Fox News Facebook page, right? And they put a post out about a Florida man groping a woman at an airport, and the police people come up to him and they're doing their line of questioning, and he's like, "Oh, it's okay because my president said it's okay." And when I saw that,
he legit said that. That's a legit quote.
Yeah, it's a shoot. Yeah, when I saw that news piece on Tuesday and I was getting ready for work, to see the look on my face would really tell a story, because I don't know on what fucking planet is it okay to A, lie to women, cheat on women, rape women, abuse women, hit women, grope women, in my opinion, do anything to women. This is some honest truth that us men have a hard time accepting. Women bring more to this world than any of us can in a lifetime.
Yeah, we're so replaceable as men. We're irrelevant in this world. We really are. Don't fool yourselves, guys. The macho guys. Oh, women need us. No, they don't.
I don't get it, man. I don't understand why is it that women mature easier than men. Why is it that women are grown up before men are? I don't know why do we feel the need to be like, oh, I could grope a woman. I could go up to a woman that I never saw before and tap her in the ass at a bar. I don't get this.
That's
mindset.
Not all men, though. I'm
not putting everybody in the box, but it's something that happens.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is not going to be me being anti-men or anything like that. Just real talk. Like, this stuff really, really bothers me. Where we feel whatever. I honestly, I don't give a shit. To even have the mindset that we're above women in any situation is freaking ridiculous in my point of view. I
do think there is a higher percentage of men that do think that way. I agree with you there, Josh. I really do. And I hear how other people talk, you know? And it is upsetting in a way, you know, and you can usually typically tell by how defensive a man will get when they talk about like equal pay, or they talk about, and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to stir any pots out there. Everyone just relax. But, you know, I agree with you wholeheartedly about, you know, but I do think there's like somewhat of a scapegoat aspect to it, but also, you know, Josh, to kind of piggyback, and I'm not saying you're making a scapegoat out of Trump, but like that dude saying, well, the president said it, that's almost like a little kid saying, well, I heard mommy or daddy say it so that I could, you know what I mean? It's just, now on the flip side, but Kanye does consider him his dad. So, I mean, I get if it was Kanye, and then maybe, but on the flip side of it though, too, I think you look at it as, And this is where we need to stop everyone that says blame the media, including our president. I don't see – I mean, there's been 10 bomb threats now, all on people that our president has voiced his displeasure about. That's not a coincidence. That's not happenstance. That's not – you know. And then to try and play spin doctor and flip it on mainstream media and say that they're stoking the flames when – you could just take, you know, and this is where what I talked about last week, why we need to stop listening to what this fucking idiot says. And all of us, stop giving him the airtime, stop giving these media outlets the airtime. When it comes to this dude's speeches, make this dude, you know, the only thing this dude wants is attention, and we're giving it to him. And it's dividing all of us in the interim and creating a very unsafe, you know, there's a lot of people that I always wanted to be a journalist. I always wanted to. Life threw a different hand in front of me. I didn't have the right guidance. It is what it is. So I feel for these media members, just like I feel for women that get catcalled from 18, if they have to walk 18 blocks home every day, they're getting catcalled the entire way. And then guys go, well, it's not that big of a deal. I wish girls hit on me all day. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because here's the reality of it, men. If you think like catcalling a woman is going to get you that woman, or if she really wants you to catcall her, you're wrong. If you think groping a woman is you're wrong. You're like, none of these things work with women or a woman that you'd want to keep. Let's just keep it 100 like with that. So, I just, man, I just think that it's more of we're in a mindset of we're going to do what we want and find somebody to blame it on after the fact. And that's the shame of it. And brother, I totally agree with you that men right now, there's a certain male in this country right now that is, acting inappropriately, and it is ruining it for the rest of us. Yeah. But,
I'm not bringing this topic up because evolution is on Sunday. It's just, it's
a good reason to, though.
I don't understand where we are with this lack of respect for women on any situation. Like, you'll sit around with people, they'll be like, oh, why is the woman hosting a panel conversation on the NFL Network? Oh, why is Rachel Nichols hosting an NBA show?
What kills me about that, right, exactly, because like, here's my argument, Josh. How much have you been in either a locker room or a film study or a literally like an NFL locker room film study practice? How much have you been there? None, huh?
Personally?
You personally, yeah. Never.
Locker room wise for women or just in general?
No, for like any NFL team. Like, how much time have you spent in the locker room or on the field with them or anything like that?
I had
None.
one.
Right?
I had one experience football wise.
Okay. But not enough to even like remotely claim to know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So when somebody like Rachel Nichols, who her job is to do nothing but research and connect and network and and have sources within the sports community, and there's just some schlub on his couch that's just screaming all day because he thinks he knows more than her and says, well, why is it a woman? Because she busted her ass for the job and you didn't. That's why. Like, this is where we need to stop with the man versus woman thing. And listen, I'll full disclosure, and this is where I like to pull the curtain down on my life. When Sam was still doing this, and me and Sam had the video show, and we were doing all the things. We were watching football one day, and my dad said something like, same thing, Josh. It was what was she know anyway? I mean, how many practices, did she attend? And I went, that's the same thing that a lot of people online say about your daughter-in-law and wrestling. And he looked at me and he went, yeah, I do sound like a real asshole, don't I? And he never, and it was a couple years ago, like never once have I ever heard him. Like it totally flipped it on him to where he it was just that realization of like, wow. And just not everybody gets that though, Josh. That comes with exposure to the unknown. That comes with people. That goes into people staying within their bubble and not trying to think outside of their bubble at all. They want their echo chamber and that's it. And that's a shitty place to be.
Yeah,
it is the sunken place. It really is. Everybody's in their own sunken place, and it's not good right now.
Yeah, we a lot of people need to get their head out of their ass. Just the general lack of respect for women and the fact to even consider the fact that it's okay to grope a woman like that it's just not right. I'll never understand that mindset. I can't.
What's saddening though, and this is you know what? No, maybe this is uplifting. I don't know. It depends on your glass half full, glass half empty, however you want to look at this, but. At least we can say we're at a stage where it's newsworthy when it happens. Because let's face it, there was a long period of my lifetime. I mean, I turned 39 on Saturday, guys. So depending on whenever you listen to this, it's my 313. It's my 3 times 13 year. But it's 13 cubed for a year. But before I really have a fucking crisis. But realistically, see, now I'm totally, this is what we needed was the laughter over all this. But, no, like most of my lifetime, like, I was born in 1979. So you look at the 80s, it was male chauvinism, the early 90s, male chauvinism. And it just was always like, well, that's the way it was going to be. And I never dug that. And I never liked the whole boys will be boys or, that's just such a cop out for bad behavior. So I guess in a weird way, Josh, as frustrating as it is, and believe me, it's absolutely frustrating that it's still, I think it's showing that we're making progress though, because at least it's newsworthy. But before, we were having women groped, raped. It's such a, it would never even hit a headline. And that's how sad the past was compared to now. So I don't know, maybe progress. I'm trying to be glass half full with this one.
Right.
It's still terrible.
It's not right. So, that's a little rant I wanted to get off my chest. I didn't want this to dominate the entire show. Like I said, we're going to have good vibes throughout this podcast this week. It's just something I want to get off my chest. It's a guy who has a sister who deals with nonsense for the male department due to decisions she makes. It's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate, but we'll move on. Really quick, let's talk a little bit some NFL stuff. Want to get your thoughts on Amari Cooper getting traded to the Cowboys.
I'm happy for my boys that are Cowboys fans. Shout out to my boy E, and shout out to my boy Shirini, DC up there in Minnesota. Yeah, he's a Minnesota Cowboys fan, and my boy Ian back here at home. But I told you so. I called this, man. I've been have I been wrong about my Raiders these past 2 years?
Nope. We talked about this last week too, man. You're right.
My dad even texted me this week because there, still a lot of stuff going on with my uncle and stuff like that. But he texted me and he was like, when you told me that they were throwing in the towel, he was like, I've never in a million years. He's like, I thought you were full of shit. He was like, your team a hell of a lot better than I realized. And I'm telling you, we're not going to be the Raiders once we hit Vegas. Just expect it. I've been saying this all along. We're not. They're wiping us. We're gone. We're relics of the past now. The autumn wind might get tamed. Global warming, climate change killed the autumn wind. See, that's what happened. Climate change came in, killed the autumn wind, and now next thing you know, the Raiders are going to be some stupid out, probably called the Gamblers in Vegas. So,
no more
thanks,
black
Earth. Thanks to Earth. No, the black hole's an Oakland thing. The black hole's not going to Vegas.
Yeah. Well,
that's what I mean. We're not going to be the Raiders.
Would it be the Red Hole, though?
What's that?
Would it be the Red Hole, though? Because Vegas has a lot of red, logos and stuff like that.
I don't know. It depends, I guess, on what the color scheme would be. I'd imagine they'd want to try and keep it as close to the Golden Knights as they could if they're going to try and keep a citywide thing. It's just like we talked about
medieval times and shit.
Yeah, man, I'm actually not as upset with the trades. I haven't been a big fan of Amari Cooper. He's been soft. I've been very critical about Derek Carr over the past couple of years. You know that ever since he got his money, and now he's probably not going to be around. Dude, I'm okay with all the draft picks. I'm concerned they're going to change the name. I don't care who's on the team. It's fine. Whatever. It's rebuild. Whatever. It's redesign, rebuild, reclaim. I get it. Whatever. Let's keep doing it. And eventually, we're going to win one. But change our name, man. It's good. It won't feel right, man.
As we transition into wrestling, I want to give shout out to the Portland Trail Blazers and especially Damian Lillard, who's a big basketball fan. He came into one of their games the other day, I think it was Tuesday, in a full Stone Cold Steve Austin outfit with the mask on and everything, and he's doing the walk towards the locker room. It was hilarious. It's on Twitter if you guys want to see it, or Vine if that's still around these days. But Damian Lillard coming out as Stone Cold Steve Austin was awesome, and also Maurice Harkless was dressed as Tyrone Biggums, and I got a good laugh out of that.
No way. That's cool.
Oh, man. Speaking of the Chappelle Show, I finally saw the Frontline segment with Mos Def and the Animals. Especially, I never saw that segment before. My friend Daryl, who I work with at the tattoo shop, give shout out to Daryl, he told me about this segment and about the Dolphin James, who's racist. And I saw this segment. It was one of the funniest things I've seen in the last couple years.
It was wild, man. It was wild.
I knew the Dolphin was fake, but just the way it looked and they had him in the scene, it was so fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm. and the way that they always and I mean, I don't know what they were using back in 2002, 2003, 2004 when they were putting these shows together, today it's CGI. Back then it was just editing and Photoshop, whatever, but green screens and, but it's just, they were always going for the ridiculous look, which I loved. I always appreciated that about Chappelle's show.
Yeah. Another one of my favorite segments from that show was the World Series of Dice.
Mm-hmm.
That segment was always good,
yeah,
too.
with Ashley Larry.
Yeah, Ashley
Larry. The Marcy Projects, Ashley Larry. Leonard Washington. I'm not, I don't forget too many Chappelle Show skits, but, I guess at this point, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I have anything on my end, somewhat entertainment wise. I didn't really write anything down this week, man. It was another crazy week. You know what I mean? With Sam's birthday, it's just, life has been very, very, very crazy. So yeah, I actually didn't even write anything down. So I'm good on my end.
Really quick, folks, if you want to check out the podcast on YouTube, we have all of our episodes uploaded on YouTube. Unfortunately, I don't have the fees to upload every single episode on iTunes, but we do appreciate those who are subscribed to the podcast on iTunes. I have about 9 or 10 episodes on there, so I think that's pretty fair. If you just want to catch up with the recent shows that we talked about recently, go check that out on iTunes, Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. And as we go into wrestling, send out some good vibes to Joe and Hawaii because I'll admit, I was at the shop and I wasn't sure what was going to come with this segment because they put this little post out about Roman Reigns making an announcement prior to Raw, and I was having Raw on in the background of the shop. So just full disclosure, I'm not able to watch Raw fully while I'm working at the tattoo shop. It's more background noise than me actually watching it live. I always watch the first segment and then I go clean, 50 or 60 tattoo tubes and dodgy bleach and moving like Sonic the Hedgehog. It gets disgusting in these tattoo shots. But anyways, I'm watching the first segment and he said that he dealt with leukemia for 11 years. And to hear that it came back like that is just very heartbreaking. It sucks. It's something that you don't see it coming, and it's and by the way, we're not going to talk about when he comes back or what he's going to do when he comes back because honestly, in my opinion, that question point or that talking point is irrelevant to the situation that we're here at right now.
I agree with that.
I just think it's more important to let him spend time with his family. Remember, he's a father to 3 kids. He has 2 sons and a daughter. That he has to look over right now, and I don't know what stage of leukemia this is or how bad it's going to affect him, but my thoughts are with him. The same thing goes with Adam. It just sucks. It's horrible news. I felt really bad for everybody there. You saw the look on Seth Rollins' face, Dean Ambrose.
Oh, that was heartbreaking, man. Graves.
Renee Young in a way too when she was saying that that Roman was best friends with her husband for over 6 years, and seeing Grace say that his kids spent time with Roman kids, and that's stuff that us wrestling fans, and I bring this up each week for a reason. We are so boggled down with this bubble that we forget that these performers are human beings and they do have relationships with other people that work inside the company, whether they're good guys or they're having rivalries with each other or whatever the situation is. These are human beings, and it's really sad to see this happen. You guys know my opinions on Roman Reigns. I'm probably the bigger Roman Reigns fan out of both of us, but I just want what's best for Joe anyway, and best speedy recovery to the Big Goose.
Before I kind of talk about the Reigns situation, I think the reason why, Josh, I do a lot of humanizing myself on here and just kind of cracking on myself as much too is because I don't think that anybody listening to this would look up to me, and I hope that you don't, because I should not be anybody's role model, probably not even my own daughter's. But, Graves and Rollins are two dudes that I do look up to, and I don't care if I'm probably older or whatever, and I know that's weird, and older guys will say this, but I mean, these are two guys that I envy, man. Their Graves is killing it. That's the type of good job, like that and Weekend Update correspondent, or like when I was a kid, like I always told you, man, I wanted to be Heenan, or I wanted to be at that SNL like news update desk. It just, those seemed like when you could really control a crowd, and to watch those two guys break down like that, and along with everyone else, like, you could tell Ambrose was fighting some stuff back, and the segment that the clip that they showed on WWE.com that was floating around was pretty emotional too, and and it's interesting, Josh. This is something that really did transcend the wrestling bubble, and we touched upon this before we started recording, but everyone that listens to this by now knows that we don't watch wrestling live, and then I got a text message from one of my buddies up in Buffalo, and he was like, hey, did you start watching Raw yet? And I was like, no, and he was like, just prepare yourself for the beginning. That's all. And I'm just thinking he's like joking around, maybe like a killer promo or something, but he's very good about like not spoiling anything. And then I got like another message like, can you believe this or whatever? And then someone else reached out that doesn't even watch wrestling and was like, that's so sad about Roman. And I'm like, what is going on? And finally I was like, you know what? Like, and it was just about like right before 9:00, and I didn't see anything. So I didn't know anything about the announcement, or like they teased an announcement or anything. And it was like, you know what? We kept AJ up like an extra 15 minutes to watch the promo and stuff like that. So we all watched it, and it was just like, and like I said, Josh, it really tied into everything our whole episode was about last week, about appreciating the little things, being overly critical, not appreciating what you have until it's gone, and how people just instantly turn face on somebody all of a sudden too, when they just bash them, then it's, which is good. Listen, that's the right thing to do. I think Sam said it best this week, and this I thought was the greatest in wrestling, in a wrestling world, and I think this is probably what he would want too. Sam said, she was like, this really sucks. She was like, because my heart breaks for Joe. She was like, but I still don't give a shit about Roman Reigns. And it was funny. It was like we needed that moment of like, cause it was like, listen, it's character, and how much, Josh, we talk about it. It's the character in the real human being. But it was good to see, the fan support get behind him, because like I always say, Josh, and I hope he recovers. I hope there's a speedy recovery. Again, I just like I've always said, I was with Daniel Bryan and his situations, I was never looking at him to return or when he returned, or if I just with Roman, I hope that he gets healthy as a father, as a husband. I understand what it's like. I can't understand that. So that's what I could not imagine that the weight that he probably has on his shoulders. So, as a fellow, husband and father, I absolutely would want to see him beat this disease first, and then worry about WWE and entertaining us, after the fact, because, his family needs him much more than we need him, and it's sad. Josh, I feel for the dude, man, because he's been through so much as an entertainer, as a superstar, and we kind of talked about Linkin Park earlier, and the shame of it is there's two different scenarios. The shame of it is that it took Chester's passing for people to really realize what they missed out on all those years, and I think it actually helped that album out too. It gave that, as much as I hate to say that. But I do think now people are going to have a greater appreciation for Roman Reigns and what he has done, and they're going to notice a difference with him not being there. And I'm not saying that's going to be everybody, but I just think that it's first and foremost, his health is what it matters. Unlike you, man, I don't care about a comeback or when or this or that, he needs to get healthy for his family, for his loved ones, for those around him. And then, maybe we'll be afforded the opportunity, to be able to watch him entertain us again. So, but yeah, man, that was a hard way to start Raw. It was a hard way to start Raw, but, I do appreciate, and I want to get your opinion on this. I do appreciate how, just honest, just blatantly honest and real, he was with this. In a way, it's almost one of those things where it's like, damn, we were kind of seeing flashes of this Roman every once in a while in promos, but they never really let him do this. I don't know, man. It really, like I said, I'm not going to pretend like I was always, the big Roman Reigns fan when it came to like the character, but I loved his in-ring work. You know that, Josh. Like you were definitely the bigger Roman Reigns fan, out of the two of us. I was always a Rollins, then Ambrose, then Reigns kind of guy. But, when it comes to stuff like this, it's just like injuries and anything else. You never want to see, you never want to see somebody get hurt. You never want to hear about an injury. And then you never, and cancer sucks. Fuck cancer. So, yeah, pardon my language. I know I'm a little more cleaned up today than most weeks. When it comes to last week, I realized I was a little language heavy, but it was a rough week, guys. I apologize. But I think we can all agree to fuck cancer. Cause that sucks. That sucks.
Yeah. Just the story, and we never know what these guys go through. To even hear him say that he went through leukemia for 11 years, it's just sad. And to even say like, oh, this wrestler never had to go through any heartache because his family members were in the business and he got a handout. Hey, here's a guy, second or third generation superstar who everybody feels like has been handed everything on a silver platter, has been dealing with life-threatening disease for over a decade, and he conquered it one time, and I'm pretty sure he'll conquer it again this time. Mm-hmm. It's just really sad, and just to see the amount of respect that he has for all his peers, even for wrestlers outside of the WWE, I thought that was for me. I thought that was the coolest part of all the bad news that came out of this announcement on Monday. It's just seeing the amount of mutual respect for all the performers in the company for Roman and the person he was, more than just the performer and this and that. So I thought that was very encouraging because we talk about it a lot here on this show. There's just a lot of overall cynicism in the world today. And it's just I feel really bad for everybody who that goes through these type of situations. We've all been affected by somebody who had cancer or any type of disease over the years. It's just really, really sad. And I wish the best for Joe. I wish the best for his family. This brother's family's gone through a lot of early deaths in his family. We all know the story about Yokozuna. We heard the story about Umaga. We even heard the story about his brother. His older brother passed away a couple years ago. This family has gone. Its family has gone through a lot of stuff over the past 10 to 20 years, and it's stuff that we sometimes as fans turn a blind eye to, and I think that's unfortunate. He's going to make the best out of the situation, and we all been, like I said a couple minutes ago, we all been affected by some type of cancer, any type of bad disease like that. It's just really sad, and Joe will make through this.
Well, and I think this is something else, Josh, too, that for how much people love to just throw vile criticism, unwarranted criticism, and just because they have hate in their hearts that they just need to let out, so they just take it out on this person or that person. We always say you never really know what's going on in somebody's life. You never really know what somebody is fighting. You never know what else is behind door number 3. You know what I mean? We live in a time where everybody, there's a line from The Killing Joke. It says, if I'm forced to have a past, I'd prefer it to be multiple choice. And we live in a world where, in a weird way, everybody's been afforded the opportunity to have a multiple choice life, which is not right. I mean, that's not, it's there. I believe in facts, not twisted realities. But this is a fact that as much as people, there is no multiple choice when it comes to Joe Anoa'i. This is a man that was a football player. They got struck with leukemia, had to battle back from it, became a wrestler, got struck with leukemia again, and now is going to battle back all over again, and this is, and you're right. Cancer sucks. I have to go every 6 months because I have to get moles removed because I had one pretty aggressive one a couple years ago. in my back, and now I have to go just to make sure that nothing ever comes back again. Nothing, it was just very concerning. Some Charlotte player had something similar, like last year or something like that. I look like 50 Cent. I look like I've been shot up. Like I seriously have like 16 like scar wounds from like different moles. Dude, I'm telling you, it's crazy. Those are the ones that are visible. I'm not talking about the ones on my ass cheeks. But it's bad, dude. I'm telling you. One year I was up to like a couple hundred stitches, just getting it was just old, man, just getting these moles removed and this and that and whatever. But that pales in comparison to what's going on here, with Roman. So that's the thing. I think we all need to take a step back. We all think that we have it so bad and life sucks and it's not fair. And and then something like this happens and it's like, you know what? But there's we all have to sometimes every once in a while just pump the brakes and realize, like I kept saying last week, appreciate the little things. Start to acknowledge those again, and then the larger scale happiness comes about. Don't look for big happiness and expect the little things to fall into place. I think that's a good way to look at bring this all full circle when it comes to just health, family. Those things always have to come first, and then everybody else can it kind of trickles down that way.
Right. Let me ask you this. What did you think about Elias hitting Baron Corbin with the guitar?
It was great. I think they've been teasing this, I think, for a minute. I think a little program between these two will be fun. Yeah, I thought it was cool. And I think the fans have been waiting for an Elias turn. If indeed this was a turn.
Right. If you will.
Because I know everybody likes to say there's just gray area there's just gray area characters now, and there's valid points to both of those, but old school wise, that was a face turn.
There was a strange trickle down effect on Raw, especially coming off this news. Title changes, turns. We're going to get into the Dean Ambrose stuff in a couple minutes, but
even with Balor, they mentioned Balor's mentioned that his career isn't exactly right, and that's not really what they've been pitching with him lately. Like they were even kind of framing him a little bit different this week too.
Yeah. I'm ready for somebody to punt Leo Rush like Gene Snitsky punt that baby doll a few years back on Raw. Lashley.
Yeah.
He knows the trigger points when to do that to do that chant.
If he didn't look like Ja Rule, I don't think it would be as bad. I think it's because he looks like Ja Rule.
Oh God, or Spike Lee.
No. I don't know. I think he looks like Ja Rule. If he wore the Spike Lee glasses, maybe. You have to go to the goatee. Spike still got a goat? I haven't seen him.
I don't know. The last thing I heard about Spike Lee was Chirac, and some people in the city were not happy about that movie.
No, dude, I saw Black Klansman, and it was fantastic. I
haven't seen it yet. I heard it was
fantastic, man. I highly recommend it to anybody out there. So it's tough to watch. You're going to be uncomfortable for a lot of it, but that's how it should be.
Yeah. Oh, since we're doing this Throwback Thursday, I think I mentioned this last week. Like the Radio Raheem scene in Do the Right Thing. He's like 20D fucking batteries.
Mm-hmm. And then all I ever think of is "Don't be a menace." Hurry up and buy.
Hurry up and buy. Oh shit. And
40s and 9s, man. That was the name of the store. 40s and 9s.
Yeah. Friday, the Christmas one. Bro's Barbecue tastes so good, makes you want to slap your mama. Don't it, Willie? Hey, mama, what you want? Ain't more locations near you. Oh God! I swear to God,
there's some good movies in the late 90s, early 2000s.
My Wello from my dad's side looks exactly like the dad that was in Friday. John
Witherspoon's his name, yeah.
Looks exactly like him.
Talk about someone that has made a living off of playing a character. Like we always say, like, a lot of wrestlers, and this is where entertainment and wrestling kind of like, we can combine them. it's funny when people always knock on certain wrestlers because, they're never going to be a champion or they're this or that. Everybody needs role players. Everybody needs those bit characters, and
Carlton.
Yeah. I mean, John Witherspoon made a career out of doing this, really the same character in every movie he was ever in.
Most Schneider, of them, at least. Another one.
Rob Schneider is always doing. I don't know. I'm not there with Rob Schneider too much. He's always morphing into something. I'm cool. I'm cool with him being like an antler or like a deer. Or like Rob Schneider is the awkward inflatable Bailey doll or whatever. Like it's like good old.
I need to ask you this.
Yes.
There's certain things in entertainment where like you'll find somebody who's like a big Dave Matthews Band fan, and then there's other people who are not. There's
and you
people
feel bad for the Dave Matthews Band fan because they listen to Dave Matthews.
Or you have
that wasn't a pun. Okay.
Yeah. Or you have people who like Adam Sandler movies and people who do not like Adam Sandler movies. Mm-hmm. Where are you in that conversation?
All right. So for any of the fans out there, I've seen Dave before, so don't, and it was, he played 2 nights in Pittsburgh and I saw the B night, which was like all the for the real Dave fans, I should have been there for the night when the songs I probably would have known. I don't know. I'm into a lot of weird stuff. I'm into a lot of stuff that I could get picked on about. I don't get Dave Matthews. I never did and never will. I do think he's funny though. But to answer your question about Sandler, he was great in You Don't Mess with the Zohan. Dave Matthews was. But Sandler movies, I'm always 50-50 on. It's either I think it's hysterical and I love it and I've watched it a million times, or I'm just not there with it and I just I leave it alone. So I'm like that with Ben Stiller though too. So there's a lot of comedians that it's like 50-50 with me.
Are you like that with Will Ferrell too, or no?
I like most of his stuff. I think the basketball movie I wasn't there. He didn't have me with that.
Yeah, Jackie Moon.
Jackie Moon in the Flint Tropics. How about the Flint New Waters? Can we make that happen?
Oh shit! All right, back to wrestling.
They still don't have new water in Flint, fucking Michigan, guys. Please.
Yeah, it's messed up. What did you think about the Nikki and Ronda contract signing?
About what I thought. But what about you?
I thought it was a little different twist in the character. Like, oh, how dare a wrestler slap a UFC fighter in the face and the UFC fighter does nothing. Just from a sports entertainment point of view, I thought it was a different change in Ronda's character that I didn't mind that much.
What I enjoyed and what I'm enjoying out of this feud is their social media banter back and forth has been killer. I mean, their game is on. I mean, I really, really, really feel they had that one solid promo last week, and that both Bellas and Ronda I felt like got great shots in. So whoever wrote that did a fantastic job. But I do think that the social media back and forth and whoever's coming up with it or how they're doing it or whose idea it is, I feel like that might be advancing it just as much, if not more, to some extent, to give it that more real feel for it, to really make people want to hate the Bellas. What do you think, Josh? I mean,
I think, man. I'm gonna need a couple of minutes to think this over. I really
social media stuff and the Bellas and Ronda.
Yeah, because Nikki did an interview with a network the other day, and they're talking about should women get more empowerment in their storylines, and not basically the point being not bringing up the fact of who they're married to, who they're dating with as insults in their back and forth conversations, because that's why I'm having this pause right now, because I saw that interview that Nikki did, and I guess she has a certain point to a certain degree, and I mean it's also another thing, you never hear wrestlers the male wrestlers go after another male wrestler because who they're dating or whatever. I'd never heard that situation before. The closest thing
Miz and Cena were there.
Edge and Matt Hardy.
Yeah, well, that was a whole different thing that I'm not going to get involved with. But you know what, though? I will say this, man. I don't have a problem with it, actually. I think that it's effective because if all parties are in on it, it's believable because we want to believe it as fans, right? Like, we want to buy in that, like, Ronda really dropped those lines and Nikki had no idea they were coming, and the fans were high-fiving each other, like the whole thing we went through last week. I think it's because we want to believe, like, that these things are finally being said so bad, and it's on one side of it that I see where it could be a little overkill, and for Nikki Bella probably, because she is under more of a firing squad than some other talent they have on the roster. But at the same time, I mean, you can't ignore the elephant in the room. And when Total Divas is based around their relationships, and I mean, you can't hide that once you branch over on the Raw and SmackDown or even NXT, it's hard to mask these relationships. Now, I think that once Aleister Black goes to the main roster, I think him and Zelina Vega, obviously, they'll probably keep them somewhat just because Aleister Black's character is so dark. He's more of a different character. But if he was like a Daniel Bryan or Johnny Gargano and Candice, they don't, they obviously don't have the fact that they're married. And I like that. That's something that Sam and I both never understood why that was always like a faux pas. And so once they kind of broke that door down, I think it adds an extra layer to a promo. It just opens up so many more doors of creativity when it's entertainment. Why box in entertainment, right? Isn't that ultimately you want as many options as possible, and as long as everybody's comfortable with what's being said and what's being or whatever's going on. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but did they not once handcuff Stephanie McMahon to the ropes, and then Randy Orton forced himself on her while Triple H was in the corner handcuffed as well? Okay, yep. Just making sure we're talking about the same company. So pardon me if I don't mind if they don't cap on each other's, they don't first snaps on each other's significant others like they would in real life. Like, your man ain't shit. No, your man ain't shit. Like, you know what I mean? It would just,
I agree with you, brother. And I'll say this, though. It's been very productive, like, rivalry banter on social media. Like, for example, Tommaso Ciampa, any feud he's in, he doesn't even put the actual Twitter handle for the people he's talking trash about. He just puts @ It's pretty funny. Tommaso Ciampa is one of the best gems on social media. And also, if you like to see some good responses to Nimrods, go check out Nia Jax, because that girl doesn't hold anything back.
Good. She's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I want to give a shout out to our boy Mike Kanellis. He made his in-ring debut for 205 Live.
The Opportunist.
Yes, sir. The 100th episode of 205 Live last night. Mike Kanellis had a very good match with Lindsay Dorado, and it's nice to see Maria Kanellis, Chicago's very own, on this show last night as well.
And my boy Lindsay Dorado.
Lindsay Dorado. Who else on the show? Oh, yeah, Mustafa Ali and Hideo Itami wrapped up their rivalry Falls Count Anywhere's match. It was pretty damn good. But back on Raw, Braun Strowman, speaking of turns, Braun Strowman, I guess, is a good guy again. We found out it's going to be Braun Strowman against Brock Lesnar one-on-one at Crown Jewel now.
Yeah, that changed quick, huh?
That's determined. Yep.
A lot of stuff happened Monday.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those Raws that we won't forget, especially what closed out the show. Ambrose turning on Rollins after they win the Raw Tag Team titles. I kind of noticed seeing Jason Jordan in the background when Roman was hugging everybody in the backstage. I don't know if he's popping up into this equation soon. But, Rollins and Ambrose are at odds now. We see what happened with McIntyre going after Strowman during that segment with Paul Heyman. So a lot of stuff intertwining, but all four guys are involved in this path. It's very interesting. I'm very curious where we're going with this, because Seth Rollins is still the Intercontinental Champion. Are you just having a title feud or a grudge feud? Who knows? Like, does McIntyre snatch the title from Rollins in a way because he's distracted by Ambrose? Like, I don't know. There's so many thoughts that came to my head when I saw that turn, and everybody's like, "Oh, why do it on this night? Why not do it?"
That's exactly why you do it, because nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw, and listen, I don't want to say nobody saw it coming, because as soon as after the first hug, I was like, oh shit, he's turning. Like there was just a feeling, even though they won the titles and everything, I just felt like and we've had this feeling for a while here, and it was eventually going to happen, and they probably just expedite. And Josh, I think that I just saw one headline come up on the Google headlines that come up, and it said their fans were just totally outraged that that's how they ended it. And it's, you know what, in a way, I know people aren't going to like what I'm about to say, but as an entertainer, your job is to draw emotion. And I understand that it started on a very emotional night, but then we had a couple other turns in between to make you feel good. Braun, Elias, and you kind of had to know that, when you can pour that extra salt in the wound, Josh, and know that it could be effective, and know that, because otherwise, does Dean and Seth splitting a month from now, is it as effective? I don't think so. I think you had to hit people while they were hurting so that it hurt that much more. And it was Seth's turn. I mean, we've been saying this all along. It was Seth's turn to take the ass whooping. So come and get your ass whooping. It was like Evander Holyfield looking for Charlie Garner in there, or Charlie, whatever his name was, in the ESPN offices when he used to do the SportsCenter commercial.
Well, I'm glad that Dean Ambrose didn't channel Randy Orton or Evander Holyfield going after ears and stuff, because that'd be a little bit. Yeah.
Tyson with the ear.
I'm watching SmackDown the other day, and Orton's still going through the earlobes. I'd seen people get earlobes at the tattoo shop.
Stretch out.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I wouldn't want to have somebody jamming their finger through it. That doesn't look like fun. So I wanted to kind of break this down and see where things go from the Ambrose Rollins perspective, because they are the tag team champions. Is this something where the Revival can sneak in, or the Authors of Pain, and they become the Raw Tag Team champions? Is it a scenario like I brought up earlier where McIntyre becomes the IC champion, or is it just Ambrose and Rollins find each other for the titles? It's I think the story plot of Rollins being so heartbroken that he loses both his titles, and it's just grudge. These guys are going to kill each other type of feud. That's how I would go about it.
Yeah, and I think, if this were me, and it's not, but if this was supposed to be the WrestleMania 34 match, drag this out to WrestleMania 35. You don't have to have finality yet. You can have certain plot points now, and you can revisit this around the Rumble, because they could cost each other the Rumble match. They could start 1-2 and instantly knock each other out or something. It's something that we've never seen before that way. Even though Rollins started at number 2 before, but I just think that it was, I don't know, man. I just think it was the right time. This is what they wanted. This is what the plan was going to be before Ambrose got hurt. And when you know that you can add that extra layer of heat on, you take advantage of it. Remember, guys. We can get as upset as we want, but this is the same company that turned Sergeant Slaughter Iraqi during Desert Storm. Okay, so we can think, oh, not tonight, but we were at war, and Sergeant Slaughter went from hanging out with G.I. Joe to hanging out with Colonel Adnan. So let's kind of remember what we're watching here, guys.
Yeah, exactly. I'll ask you this. Should Ambrose take a couple weeks off? Because for me, with the way that turn happened, it's like something where Ambrose could finally channel in Brian Pillman in a way, where he's off for a couple weeks and Rollins goes after him. I don't know, maybe 1 week Renee is not calling the show, she's looking over Ambrose, something like that. I know it's a retread from 21 years ago, but it's just something I've been thinking about recently. Do you keep Ambrose off of television for a couple weeks?
You know what? I actually, in a way, I think you might be onto something there. Is he right now scheduled for Crown Jewel? No,
right? He has nothing.
I would keep him off until after Crown Jewel, and this is just me. But listen, here's why, and here's why. And I know I'm fantasy booking here and fantasy storytelling and whatever, but this is. I would almost make it so that he's off TV, And Renee's kind of left to answer well, what is he doing, or what, because this was the first week they really, I mean, they teased it, they hinted it, but this is the first week she was like, I mean, my husband spends a lot of, like, it was the first time I was like, whoa, wait, like, yeah, I mean, we all know, but they don't really ever directly correlate it, I mean, they've hinted, with that being said, my first initial thought was, okay, so what if Renee Young has turns with Dean? Now she can kind of start to be like a little bit more of a protagonist, an antagonist rather, on the announce table instead of Graves. I think that would be somewhat refreshing. I think it would be new. I think Renee Young absolutely could pull it off. And I think that if you left Ambrose off TV for a couple weeks and then it was constantly, Renee has to answer all these questions. It's like, and finally she snaps, you know what? I don't speak for him. Now I see why he did what he did. It's always about you guys. Like I truly feel like the possibilities are endless right now. And, I'm really excited. Like I popped. I popped when he turned, and I'm a Rollins guy, and I still popped when he turned. So you did. But that's the art of storytelling, man. That's where I would like if it were me. And again, it's not me or about me or anything like that. But I think it would just be an interesting way to have. And then Josh, you actually give her time after Evolution, so she does Evolution still as a face, right? And then after Evolution is when she starts getting asked questions, because they don't have to bring it up at Evolution. They can wait till Monday night. And then that's what, so, but I don't know. Do you think he'll actually take time off though?
I think he will.
Think he will?
Yeah.
I think till right after Crown Jewel would be smart.
Probably.
Maybe for both of them.
I guess. But also we got this whole thing with McIntyre and Ziggler. Are they going to turn on each other too? I mean, they have a rematch clause too. There's a lot of things that are not still unsolved with this situation before we go full blown into Ambrose and Rollins.
And this is, I think, Josh, this is why you and I have always been very more sympathetic and forgiving of the writers' room and what they're trying to do, because this is one of those examples of one instance probably blew up 6 different storylines.
Yep.
And you can't be mad at Roman. Like listen, this is just injuries happen, like health happens, real life happens. And this is where, everybody else says, well, why aren't they doing this? Because you just never know. You just really never know. And they can only plan as best as they can. And it's probably going to feel a little shuffled for a couple episodes, I think, until they get everyone solidified again. But it was a crazy Raw though. There was a lot going on, a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. There's going to be a trickle down effect. It's just going to be there, especially with Survivor Series coming up. What's going to be the Universal title feud? Is it just going to be Strowman and McIntyre? Does Balor go after it? Does Lashley get involved now? I mean, do you get Bobby Roode back to his NXT form and maybe he goes after the title? There's a lot of things that are up in the air right now, and I think that's the fun part about going into this fall season for Raw, that there's so many things left undetermined and feuds and turns that haven't even happened yet. I think that's very cool, and it's something that we should keep attention to.
And I think here's something else that I think, I don't know if a lot of people are talking about this. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. But this just hit me as we're sitting here kind of talking about this. And this is going to be a good test to see what people truly feel. And if they were just always recycling what they heard and they were just being stubborn, or if people truly felt that way. Because right now is the first time in a long time that we're going to have a World Wrestling Entertainment product without John Cena, without Brock Lesnar, and without Roman Reigns. All 3 of them are gone. Lesnar's gone after this. He's not taking this title. And if he does, he's leaving with the title probably. You know what I mean? Like, but unless they are able to toss some money at him and keep trying to get him. But it seems like his foot's out the door. Cena has so much going on. You can only bring him back so many times. It is absolutely a new face kind of WWE where, they always talk about the brass rings. Josh, this is where people really could grab those brass rings.
Yep. You know who hasn't been on television recently? Bray Wyatt.
Correct. Yep. Yep. Jeff was wearing a The Leader of Worlds shirt too, like not last week, maybe the week before, maybe it was this past week or something like that. Yeah. On SmackDown 1000.
Yep.
Foreshadowing. Probably not Matt, but Bray coming back.
Bray's coming back soon, and don't be surprised if you see a Braun Strowman Bray Wyatt feud. Mm-hmm. Do not be surprised.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That's Raw. It's very, very, very cool. So it pumped up a lot of things for Evolution. Obviously, Sasha Banks is back in the ring, so we get our weekly Corey Graves digs at her, plotting the backstabbing.
I want it's boss time to stop. That's all. I just want that to stop. Can we stop that, please? Yeah. How about this? We'll make a trade with you. Us, the CM Punk delegation, will officially stop saying it's clobbering time if you stop saying it's boss time. Final offer.
Whenever Sasha does the backstabber, I want Graves to be like, "Oh, here's Sasha being Sasha."
He should start calling that one the bank statement, right? Because she's a backstabber. Get it? She's making a statement. Boom, ching. I'm here all fucking week, folks.
So we got most of the playing field set up for this World Cup tournament. I think Miz is winning this thing. I really do. There's a lot of veterans on here, but I think this would be Miz's case to be like, hey, I'm the best in the world. I'm going to fight AJ Styles at Survivor Series. This is where I think this is all leading up to. I think Miz is winning the World Cup.
So this is an actual 8-person tournament, right? Where they're going to have...
Yes. Mm-hmm. So they're going to do it just like they had the Mixed Match Challenge right now, but the brackets be the Raw superstars fight each other and the SmackDown guys fight each other. So whoever's representing Raw and SmackDown in the finals, that'll be the final match.
Okay. So now are they going to have all the matches the night of Crown Jewel, or are they having matches leading up to? So it's okay. I love the old school all in one night tournament. So I'm already in on that.
Yep.
So here's where I think that what could help Miz, and I don't want to say help Miz. Miz doesn't need help, but I think what would be great for the Miz character. It did a lot for Chris Jericho to say he beat Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock in the same night to become the first ever undisputed champion, right?
Right.
So why not put him up against Angle or up against have him knock off the names, the quote unquote name, and because is Angle considered Raw on that or SmackDown?
Raw.
Who's the SmackDown for then?
Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, and The Miz.
So he can knock off Orton and Mysterio and then knock off Kurt Angle in the finals.
Right.
That's 3 big names to knock off in one night.
Or Rollins.
Oh, because he is in that tournament, huh?
Yes.
So he'd have to be there. Well, I think Ambrose will get him out of the tournament.
I'm pulling up Crown Jewel right now. I want to see who else is in tournament. It's John Cena
on the Raw side.
Rollins. Yeah, okay. John Cena, Seth Rollins, Kurt Angle, and I forgot the 4th person in Crown Jewel. 1 second, let me pull this up. Wow, they don't have it right here. I can't believe Mr. Transcribe here. I freaking transcribe 20 hours of wrestling shows. I can't give you the.
It's overload. Yeah, that's what happens. That's why you got to. That's why you got to clear your cache, refresh. Clean out your browser history sometimes, reboot your computer. Every once in a while, you just got to freshen it up.
Yeah, that's true. Dolph Ziggler. So I'm gonna map this out, this bracket for you guys. Right, Miz against Jeff Hardy. Randy Orton against Rey Mysterio. That's the SmackDown side. Raw, Kurt Angle versus Dolph Ziggler, and Seth Rollins versus John Cena.
Okay.
There you go. So that's the World Cup. Determine it's not the World Cup. It's the CM Punk Cup.
They're laying it on thick with that whole thing too. They had to keep saying it over and over. Like the fans weren't going to start chanting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Shane on SmackDown, he's like, I don't believe he's in the tournament.
Yeah, that was great though. That was a great comeback.
Yeah.
They should do that just to shut the crowd up, man. That's the best way to handle it. Like, don't ignore it. Just acknowledge it, and then every time they've acknowledged it, the crowd shut up.
Yeah. They even did it at the Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
I was there when Vince McMahon did it, and I was quite embarrassed for my city of how quickly they shut up.
Papa Vince came out and shut that shit down, buddy.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. God damn it, pal. There's other matches still announced left for Crown Jewel. The Bar will be putting their tag titles against New Day. New Day's getting their title rematch. Big E on SmackDown. This is what SmackDown was a lot of matches this week, so it's not really a lot to react to. I really like the Charlotte Becky Performance Center segment. I thought that was very well done. But a lot of SmackDown was just matches this past week. But the New Day promo that started off the show where Biggie's like, Big Show flipped as many times as a flapjack. I thought that was a great line.
Yeah, I'm glad they kind of acknowledged that one. That was good. And you're right. I did like the Performance Center segment because that was something else. Again, it was different. It was nice that it was the women that were doing it, versus the men. Because it was a little bit different. You don't typically see that as much. So kudos to them on that. I did like how they were setting up the Battle Royal too. How they had like all the teams come out, and that slowly all the women were coming out that were going to be in the Battle Royal at Evolution. So yeah, I thought SmackDown. I agree though. It was match heavy, but I thought what needed to be effective was
well done. Yeah. I'll say this though, the Jimmy Uso Big Dog Splash, I put it in the article. I just called it the Big Dog Splash because he did the Superman punch while doing it up in the air. I thought that was pretty cool.
It was cool. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see everyone doing the little. It was good to see, like I said, the entire the wrestling community is a beautiful, beautiful thing when we all come together, aren't we? Mm-hmm. It really is. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing when we all come together for the That's why I think that's why I get so frustrated when everybody's always like at odds, because we are an amazing little subculture when we're all together.
I want to give a shout out to Miz because he was totally right. Nobody's going to give a crap about the WWE title until he goes after it. Like, Bryan and Styles are just in tag matches. Like, next week on SmackDown, they need to, like, get these going, show some type of animosity, because I get it. These guys are some of the best performers in the world, but I don't think Bret Hart versus, babyface, good in-ring wrestler at the same time. Who I can add to the scenario right now?
I'm trying to think. I mean, we could really use Bret versus Owen if you want to use like a good, I mean, I think even though Owen was working heel, I mean, I just think, to me, I feel like the fans were still split on that one,
Okay, better equation. Bret Hart versus Ricky Steamboat is not going to evoke reaction from a crowd. You're having a good technical wrestling match, but where is the heat coming from?
I don't know, man. I grew up on Steamboat Flair hour to finish matches, 2 out of 3
Flair
falls.
was a heel.
True. Yeah, but you know what? Though, you got to remember, at that time he was a heel, but the Horsemen, I mean, even though they were bad guys, the adults loved them. So they were, he was the cool. I mean, Flair was the cool heel, and yes, the kids booed him, but the adults kind of cheered for him. The women cheered for him. It was, Savage Steamboat, WrestleMania 3. I think there are certain matches where we forget about face, heel, antagonist, protagonist, and we just can't, but I see what you're saying on how they're both supposed to be babyface right now. Although, I don't know, man. I just think Daniel Bryan in the past couple months has kind of been a whiny little bitch, but
yeah,
I think that's what his character is supposed to be, though. Don't get me wrong. I think that's how he's being presented that way. But yeah, that's just how it's come off to me. I don't know. We shall see, though.
Let me ask you this. Do you think this is a one-off, or do you think, like, AJ will move on to whatever his rivalry is next?
We don't really know when Miz can catch this opportunity in, can we? We don't know.
No.
Is this like a Money in the Bank briefcase type of scenario where he can cash it in at any time?
No, they're just having the cup. And I found this interesting because remember Braun Strowman won the greatest Royal Rumble, right? Mm-hmm. But he didn't he didn't cash in anything. He had the belt, and that was just it.
He got right.
But his prize was winning the Money in the Bank ladder match the month later. We were at the show, right?
Right.
And in this scenario, it's just bragging rights. Oh, Miz is the best in the world.
So the winner doesn't get, because I thought the winner had a future opportunity, a future championship opportunity.
No, the only match.
Okay, that changes things.
Only match coming up soon that has a future title opportunity is the Battle Royal for Evolution.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. That changes that might even change my pick with the Miz too. But yeah, I don't know. As far as Styles and Bryan go, man, we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. This is actually a feud and a match I wish the title wasn't a part of, because I almost feel like the title is diluting this match, and only because. And this isn't anything against Styles, but I think we're all ready to see that title change hands. And it's not Styles' fault. It's not, but we went from Lesnar never being around with one championship to AJ Styles now having this championship for 300 some days now I think he's at. So, and listen, I like long title runs like this, so it's nothing against you one way or the other, but it just doesn't seem like it's clicking with the fans anymore. And once it's, that's when it's time to kind of shuffle it around. But to answer your question, I was really just like loopholing it because I really don't have an answer for it. I'm not gonna lie. I would think that I can't imagine this only being a one-off, but I can't. At the same time, I can't imagine the Miz doesn't get inserted into this sooner than later. Also, you know what I mean? So maybe it's a triple threat Survivor Series, for a rematch, or maybe it's I don't. Who knows? Do you see the title changing hands at all, Josh, Or we'll get to that, I guess, once we got Evolution first.
I don't see it changing, and I know we've been talking a little bit about fantasy booking on the show today, but it's just a lot of things that's been brewing through my head of like different ideas that we can see on the show going forward. Do you see a picture where Samoa Joe starts his rivalry with Daniel Bryan? He hasn't been on television recently. Right. Something like that.
That's a good point.
By the way, I know this WrestleMania is not till April, but I have a feeling I might find Andrade Cien Alba's first WrestleMania match.
Who's that?
Mysterio.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
I wouldn't rush it right now, but I think it's gonna happen.
Because I think that would give them enough time to get a lot of steam behind Almas, which I think there already is.
They always wanted to do Mysterio versus Sin Cara at WrestleMania. They never did it. I think you could pull it off with Almas and Mysterio.
Absolutely. Okay.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our fantasy booking, whatever you want to call it, of the week.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Trust me, we're not going to be heartbroken if any of these scenarios do not happen. This is just regular wrestling conversation. But let's do this time next week before we go into Evolution. This time next week, Sam Darnold and Mitch Trubisky will be getting ready to film Dude, Where's My Car #2.
Wow. This time next week, we're going to be talking about how vile and unbelievably overly critical we're going to see a bunch of men be about this pay-per-view on Sunday. Yeah. And I promise you that we're going to see more people pick this pay-per-view apart more than any other pay-per-view that WWE has put out there in the past 10 years.
Yeah. If you think Capital Punishment was rough, wait for Sunday.
And I don't mean that the show's going to be bad. I just mean that people are going to be looking for reasons to hate on it, and it's going to get silly. Yeah, you know what I mean. You hear me, but it's going to get silly when you see. And I promise you, just wait, guys. And that might even be something funny. This time next week, we're going to be talking about some of the funniest takes you guys sent us from the Evolution pay-per-view.
Yeah, I may even play it on the show. I can find audio. Trust me, folks.
Not too.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of soapboxes this weekend, unfortunately. But by the way, since we're talking about birthdays and shout outs, I want to give a shout out to Ant. He's celebrating his birthday this weekend, and he's going to Evolution. So give a shout out to Ant, shout out to MJ, and our boy Nick Giacobbe. He's making the trek from Full Sail all the way out to Long Island to see Evolution. So that's pretty cool.
I'd love to. They got tickets for like $10 right now.
Yeah. You should go, man.
I don't know if we're going to take the drive up. I don't know if we necessarily have the money right now.
But anybody who's going to Evolution this Sunday, please have a good time. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. I mentioned before, I think it's going to be one of the top shows of the year. I think these ladies are going to kill it. I'm very, very excited for some of these matches on the card that we're going to get into in a couple minutes. But let's go back to this time next week. This time next week, Michael Jordan will be asked again why he's not taking part of the I Love Basketball series that's going on ESPN.
Probably because of the Hitler mustache. I guess this time next week, it's going to be real ugly in the world because we're going to be right around. It's going to be like 4 days away from the midterm elections, and people's animosity is going to be turned up to, unfortunately, to like a fever pitch. So this time next week, I'm going to avoid people so that I don't have to deal with any talk from anybody. So I don't care whatever label people put on either side. I don't really give a shit. I don't want to hear it.
Can we just declare next week as tension? That's it.
It's gonna be rough going into it. That's what I mean. This is it's a strange world we live in when targets are actually being blamed for being targets. That's a new one. That's a new one. You got sent a bomb to you, and it's your own fault. That's good to hear from a leader. I repeat, a leader.
A leader, yeah.
Wow.
This time next week, the New England Patriots will be 6-2, and the Boston Red Sox will be World Series champions, and everybody be Boston. Lovely.
This time next week, I would have realized that I didn't even know the World Series was happening, gone here, there, or elsewhere. Is that fair?
That's totally fair. This time next week, I will be rewatching that Frontline segment from Chappelle's Show because I need a good laugh at the tattoo shop.
Yeah. And this time next week, it's going to be fully in November. I'm going to be 39 years old. And I'm going to be counting down the days till I'm 40. So this time next week, I'll be going through my 3/4 life crisis in full bore.
This time next week, Seth Rollins will get in Renee Young's face.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So actually, I like that idea, man. But I like the idea of her interviewing him, like maybe doing like an interview with him, and like the tension gets higher or something. I like that. I like your thought process on that. I like your Moxie kid, or I like your Moxley kid. See what I did there?
I see what you did.
Tip your fucking waitresses this week.
Oh shit! Oh, this time next week, I am actually gonna try to learn a couple songs off of the Thousand Suns album. I've been holding off trying to play some Linkin Park songs on the guitar, so I'm gonna do that, and maybe I may upload it on YouTube as covers. So be on the lookout for that.
And I guess for me, this time next week, I am just going to be waiting until next year's NFL draft when the Raiders apparently are going to have every single first-round draft pick. So,
right tackle, center, and
draft them all. Gotta draft them all.
Oh shit! They got 5 first-round picks in the next couple seasons. Hopefully the GM can find some actual people this time.
As of right now, we got 3 next year, and we're still looking to get rid of people, so don't be surprised if we get a 4th.
I don't get a chance to watch the Raiders each week, but how do people feel about Colton Miller?
You know what? He's actually a little bit better than what I thought. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in Oakland, man. I just know we're right back to square one, like I said we'd be.
All right, I want to rattle off a couple NFL games before we make our predictions. Just to get your thoughts on the games this weekend, and then we'll get into Evolution. It's been a fun show so far. I have a little different mix. I had that little rant in the beginning. We talked about comedy. It's been a very fun show so far. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Tonight we got Dolphins, Texans. Both teams are 4-3. This game's in Houston. Thursday Night Football. Who you got?
Who is it? Dolphins and Texans, you said?
Yeah, Brock Osweiler is starting again.
I'm gonna go Miami. I actually have Miami making playoffs this year, so in the preseason I picked that, so I'm gonna go Miami. Even though I kind of like Houston a little more tonight, I'll still go with Miami.
I'll go with Houston. Usually the home teams win these Thursday night games.
I hate Thursday night games. They need to get rid of them.
Yeah. Can you get rid of Monday Night Football as well? I mean, the announced team is not really doing much of a difference.
That kills it. I hate that. They need to get Booger off the nostril, too. That poor dude deserves better. He deserves better.
He's stuck in that little area, man. It's brutal.
I don't like it.
Can you picture the dirty looks that the players give him and the sideline like that?
No, I don't know even if they're dirty looks. They're probably looking at him like, man, I feel so bad for you right now. And they're throwing you that contraption, scooting your ass around this whole stadium. Man, that ain't
All
right.
right. A battle in London with two teams that don't have the records that most people expected them to have at this point. Eagles and Jaguars.
Going overseas, I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Yeah, I'll go with the Eagles too. There's a lot of tension in that Jaguars locker room, especially. I saw the news report today that Blake Bortles says that basically he's the scapegoat for anything that happens with the Jaguars, and I wouldn't say that's fully the case because when you give up 40 points to Dak Prescott without Amari Cooper, I think that's a problem, especially with this defense who brags about being better than the 2000 Ravens.
Right.
There's a lot of divisional matchups this week. We won't go through every single game. I mean, they have the Browns and Steelers, Redskins, Giants. By the way, one of the most Ethiopia games of the season, 1-6 versus 1-6, 49ers at the Cardinals this week. That's going to be
messed up. Listen, our one Ethiopian listener just got offended by that joke, and I'm going to apologize on behalf of Josh for that one.
We have some big heavy hitters, though. We got the Packers at the Rams. Packers coming off a bye week. I was telling Brother Joseph here about the stretch of games that the Packers have coming off this bye week. So Packers and Rams is the, in Fox opinions, game of the week. In my opinion, the game of the week is the Saints at the Vikings, Sunday Night Football. That's going to be a lot of fun. In Minnesota, I have the Saints winning this one. I think they play better in prime time, and Saints are picking up a lot of momentum. Hell, Drew Brees finally beat Baltimore in Baltimore this weekend, so I'm going with the Saints.
Yeah, I'll probably take see, I haven't really even been thinking about this, and I do a football podcast on the side. Sure, Saints on this one.
All right, last one.
Prime time game, I'm going Drew Brees all day.
Last one, I'll ask you, this is a game I'm interested in. Ravens at the Panthers. This should be
why? These are two teams that I wish would fall off the face of the earth. My God.
Hey, it beats Patriots at the Bills. Yeah, Tom Brady's going to lose to Derek Anderson on Monday.
Jeez. That's on Monday Night Football?
Yeah, Patriots at the Bills.
Wow.
So, yeah. A lot of weird stuff going on in that tailgate that Monday.
Oh, man, they're going to have all day to tailgate. Someone getting pregnant in Buffalo this weekend.
Halloween special. Hey, you're pregnant.
Wow. Oh, it's going to be wild up there. There's going to be so many arrests. Oh, God. The stories that are going to come out. This time next week, we're going to be talking about that game. I promise you.
Oh, shit. For whatever reason, Tony Romo and Jim Nantz are calling the Jets-Bears game. I mean, I'm happy that CBS considers the Bears to have their lead CBS team at the game this week. But, Tony Romo.
That happened with the Raiders and Browns. Raiders and Browns too. We had the NFL on Fox team for some reason.
Yeah, well, really, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman called that one.
No, it wasn't their A team. No, but it was Fox. It was actually aired on Fox instead of CBS.
Oh, okay.
Every once in a while they'll slip just because of the way the bye weeks are and the scheduling, and it's in the Thursday night game and all the other shit they need to fix with the NFL.
By the way, I have nothing against Jim Nantz. I think Jim Nantz has always been one of the best play-by-play football guys. I mean, he's been calling games since I was born. I mean, I grew up with this guy, so
I can't hear about Jim Nance without listening. Like, my dad tells a story that and this is true, back in the 80s, and Lawrence Taylor was, and see, if you were alive in the 80s, you know Lawrence Taylor was bad motherfucker. Yeah, I'm sorry again, I know language is starting to come out a little bit, but that's the only way you can describe him, is bad mofo. And Jim Nance one day said something to him about, like, I don't know if he had a bad game, just something, and just said something about, what, is he going to do anything differently to improve, or like, what happened with, how come you didn't get any sacks? He said, how many sacks you have, Nancy? And that's just always said to him. And like, my dad like tells this story all the time, and it's just like something we always talk about. So I just always crack up at Jim Nance, because I just couldn't imagine like I would just be shitting in my pants if Lawrence Taylor all of a sudden just turned heel on me and was about to kill me.
Right.
Especially in the 80s, LT wasn't a dude you wanted to mess with.
Yeah. This is a big game for my Bears this week. We got the Jets and the Bills these next 2 weeks, and there's still a chance to go for this division title here. So I'm not losing sleep. I mean, the fact they're 3-3 at this part of the season when we only had 5 wins last year, I'm going to take that as gravy. Yes, Mac has been dealing with some ankle issues. If it was me, I know he's had this playing streak, and I give him the utmost respect for him playing 70 games in a row. That's insane. But I would probably rest Mac this week and force other guys to step up and have a wake-up call this week. I don't see a reason why we can't beat the New York Jets this week. It's going to be a good game, but Bears need to step their game up. And I feel weird saying that, because all their games they've lost this year has been either by a field goal or 7 points. Mm-hmm. Just that we haven't even got blown out yet. So we have to get this one. We have to win this game on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it's these next. If you can't beat the Jets or Buffalo, and I mean, these are games. If you're a playoff team, you have to win these games. It's just like when teams lose to Oakland, and they're my own team. That's why I'm picking on them. Like if you think that you're a playoff team, that's why everyone on the Cleveland Browns bandwagon, just relax. Not yet. Not yet.
Trust me, I've seen a lot of progress with this football team, but this team was a top 10 defense without Khalil Mack. I don't understand why we are suddenly opposed to defending short passes these days and giving up 30 points each week. We had talent there. I seen it last year with a 5-11 record. This defense didn't need Khalil Mack in the first place. So,
buyer's remorse, or too early to say?
No, it's not a remorse on him. I'm saying for the guys, they know what the fuck to do. It's time to play. Anyways, that's football this week. Let's talk about Evolution, my man.
There we go. Let's get to it.
All right, Evolution from the dump in Long Island, Nassau Coliseum. Maybe you'll see Mike the Situation there. Nope, my bad. He's in jail. All right, here
he should be, but isn't he?
Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya against the Riot Squad. I'll go with the Riot Squad. This is where Sasha actually turns on Bayley. This has been a week of heel turns. We had Dean Ambrose turn on Seth Rollins. We've had Johnny Gargano be the guy who attacked Aleister Black. For those,
I thought that was going to be the case.
Yeah,
actually, I think I told you that. I was like, you're the one I told. I thought it was going to be Gargano all along.
Yep, Johnny Backstabber in NXT right now. And we'll wrap up the week of heel turns with Sasha Banks turning on Bayley at Evolution.
Because it is the first all-women's pay-per-view, I think they will have a big turn, like you have at your big events sometimes, So I actually totally agree, Riot Squad. I'm going to say Bayley's the one that turns.
Ooh, okay.
I think it's time for Bayley. I'm going to say Bayley makes a turn.
I'm going to rattle off a lot of these names really quick as fast as I can. Selena Vega, Mamacita, Molly Holly, Maria Kanellis, Kelly Ivory, Alundra Blaze, Michelle McCool, Tori Wilson, Naomi, Lana, Carmella, happy belated birthday, by the way, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Asuka, Dana Brooke, Nia Jax, Alicia Fox, Ember Moon, Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, and Tamina, all battling in a battle royal to get a future women's title shot. I saw some people say like, oh, can AJ Lee show up in this battle royal? I mean, they're in her home state. I don't know if AJ's going to be on this show or not. I'm not going to get my hopes
anyway. Yeah, no, that's not where. If she was to make and she's not going to be there. There's a better placement for her, and we'll talk about that later on. But go ahead, Josh.
This will be interesting because obviously whoever wins this match will probably go for the said title at Survivor Series, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some NXT other performers like Bianca Belair or Nikki Cross or Lacey Evans, if you will. You add them into Battle Royal as well. I'm going with Ember Moon. I'm going with Ember Moon to win this Battle Royal.
Yeah, I actually was kind of leaning that way too, only because they've been putting a little bit more of a focus on her. They inserted her into the mixed match challenge. She had a focal point on Raw this Monday night. So I absolutely could see Ember.
I won't lie. I will pop if Mandy Rose wins just to see the heat in that building. Please,
Graves' reaction would be fantastic. Yes. Corey Graves' reaction would be the best thing ever. You know what? I mean, I'm trying to think through like who else I could really see right now. This is where I actually wish Ruby was in this one, because I could see Ruby Riott coming out, but maybe we'll save that for the Royal Rumble, So yeah, I'm going to go Ember Moon on this one.
All right, Io Shirai against Toni Storm, the finals of the Mae Young Classic. I haven't got a chance to do the article for the last Mae Young Classic episode for last night. I'm going to do that after I'm done with this show. But we got Io Shirai against Toni Storm in the finals. This will be a pretty cool match, in my opinion. I'm actually going with Toni Storm in this match. Yeah. I like Io Shirai. She's very impressive. I don't see a lot of differences from Kairi Sane, just moveset-wise, just from my point of view. But it doesn't take away from her. I think Io's a really, really good wrestler. Mm-hmm. This could be a fun match.
I think they both end up signing anyway, though. It's going to be one of those scenarios.
Yeah, Toni Storm is going to be part of the UK women's division. So I think, yeah, I'm going with Toni Storm in that one. All right. Kairi Sane against Shayna Baszler for NXT Women's Championship. I'm going with Kairi Sane.
I'm going to say Baszler takes it back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go different on this one. I'll say Baszler takes it back.
I was going to say Kairi Sane because I think her and Bianca Belair are going to have a feud with each other going into this next takeover, just from stuff I've seen on television. But I wouldn't be surprised if Shayna won either. Okay. Trish Stratus and Lita against Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. I'm going with the veterans here. I think this is going to be a celebration day where Mickie hugs it out with them, embracing nostalgia. I'm going with Trish and Lita.
Yeah, I'll go that route too. I actually thought they'd all turn on Lita at first. I thought that was the other way they could go. They're all either going to turn on Lita and you have three heels together, or you have only because I questioned we were best friends when they were really arch rivals. Obviously they're best friends. Yeah. You know how we're supposed to cloud reality and fantasy. But yeah, I agree with you. I think some way something happens, but I think that this is where Alexa Bliss, the big bad always gets their comeuppance, and that's what happens here.
All right, here we go. Two more matches. Ronda Rousey against Nikki Bella. I'll go over with Ronda Rousey.
I'm going with Ronda Rousey too, and this is what I would say, Josh, is that if AJ Lee was coming back, and it's not happening, guys, so don't, but if she was coming back, this is the spot that you put her in. You put her in to screw over Nikki Bella. She skips out of the arena, never to be seen from again. You know what I mean? And that's honestly, that would be the way to kind of give the fans exactly what they want for all the years of AJ was really the one that's, how there's a split argument on fans on who really started this, everything and whatever, but, she's not going to be there. So let's just get that out of our heads. I still think Rousey wins.
Yeah, I'm going with Ronda Rousey too. There's going to be some haymakers thrown in this match, just like Chris Paul and Rajon Rondo the other night during that Rockets Lakers game. I saw that fight. That was pretty interesting. This will be a good match. I think Nikki's going to she usually puts on good performances in big time matches, so I'm not worried about that. We'll see what factor Brie has in this match. This is probably something where she goes home for a little while. I don't know if Nikki stayed around either after this show, but yeah, Ronda Rousey in this one, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. Do you try to pull twin magic on her? Maybe. You never know.
I don't know if they can do that anymore. But.
Yeah, that's a good point. Last one for me, I think the main event is going to be Becky and Charlotte, last women's standing match for the SmackDown Women's title. I'll go with Charlotte, actually.
So am I.
Yeah.
And I think this is where we don't realize it yet, but we actually have a double turn it's not going to be like, and guys, just hear me out on this one. I know it's a lot of turns. They're changing around a lot of characters right now. And this is, and I know we keep referencing this, but, and everybody keeps referencing this, and that's a very wide paintbrush to paint with, but there's a lot of Stone Cold versus Bret Hart, and this could be the one where, and remember, Stone Cold passed out in that, and that's really what led him to be the badass babyface that he was, the great, versus what he was before. So, and it kind of switched Bret. It forced Bret into the heel side of things. I think we get that here. I really do. I think that we have Charlotte defeat Becky, and it's just the fans actually boo Charlotte, and then we still see it's not really going to change their characters as much. I don't think they have to do that. It's just the fans' opinions are going to dictate a lot with this. I think.
Right.
Crowd response.
Absolutely. And I think another tipping point on this is just how Becky's been on social media. Like every little post about Evolution, she has to reply about herself. She replied to Asuka today. I seen her say some stuff to Rhea Ripley for the classic. Yeah, Becky's feeling herself this weekend. It's kind of like the ego check type of moment. It's not devaluing her. It's not her being buried.
It's extending the feud.
Absolutely, brother. So I'm going with Charlotte in this one, and that concludes Evolution. Evolution coming up this Sunday live on the WWE Network. I'm looking forward to covering the pay-per-view. It's going to be a good Sunday. We got Halloween coming up. It's a good weekend for yourself, my good brother. Happy birthday, man. I love you.
Thank you. Love you too, brother. Thank you. Going to enjoy it responsibly. Wink.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Also, enjoy your Halloween as well. It's on Tuesday. I'm going to be busy at the tattoo shop. I'm sure a lot of people are coming in, so I'm going to be in for a long night on Tuesday. So we'll see what happens on the follow-up for Evolution. A lot of cool, interesting things could happen for the next couple of months on Monday Night Raw. So the main roster tick should be stepping up a little bit more, heading towards Survivor Series. So we got some interesting stuff. We have this controversy going on with Crown Jewel, and we talked about it last week. You guys know what our stance is on the whole situation. I didn't feel like the need to repeat it on here. I just want more of a more positive, energetic vibe that we usually bring here on the show. So, yeah. What's our thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Make sure to leave us an honest review on Apple Podcasts and YouTube. Check out the podcast each week. Subscribe to our YouTube and iTunes channels. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Notorious Joshie. Follow Adam at Twitter at AdamDaley13. Enjoy your Halloween weekend. Enjoy Evolution most importantly, and we'll talk to you guys next week.